Edwin is forced to stay with Auntie Hamps, who is now seriously ill.
What children you are. What wonderful children.
Don't you talk any more than you have to, Auntie. What you need is rest.
You've all come, then?
She won't get the children. I say, has she made a will?
I don't know.
He doesn't know.
Then who does know?
I should have thought you'd know.
Me? I like that. Well, she hasn't spoken to me for months, has she, Albert? I called yesterday, but she didn't speak. She was always frightfully close about all these things.
About what things?
Well, you know.
Hmm.
Don't you think you'd better ask her?
No, I don't.
Well, then I shall.
So long as you don't do it when I'm near. If you want to ask people about their wills, you ought to ask them before they're actually dying.
There's nothing more to be said. We'd best go back in, Albert. Here's Uncle Edwin.
Edwin.
Yes, Auntie.
I thought I'd lost you.
No, no.
She's feeling for your hand, Edwin.
Have you been to the works?
No, not yet.
That's right. I'm so glad the children have been to see me. Amy, did you kiss me?
Yes, Auntie.
Better get him out of here. It's as much as she can stand. The parson's only just gone, you know.
Come along then, young uns. Out we go.
We mustn't be upsetting Auntie.
Children. Children. Bless you all for coming. If you grow up to be as good as your mother, it's all I ask. All I ask. Your mother and I have never had a cross word. Have we, Mother?
No, Auntie.
Never. Since your mother was as tiny as you were.
Come along then.
Bye, Auntie. Bye, Auntie.
Edwin,
Yes, Auntie.
have you heard from Hilda?
Not yet.
It's about George's eyes, isn't it?
Yes.
She done quite right. That's just like Hilda. And hope and pray the boy's eyesight is safe.
Oh, yes, safe enough.
You really think so?
Mm.
What a blessing. Ooh. Edwin,
Yes, Auntie.
has that girl gone yet?
Who? The servant, do you mean?
Minnie,
Not yet.
she's going
Yes.
because I can't trust Maggie to see to it.
I'll see to it.
Not every year. Not now she's got herself in trouble.
I know.
Mopsy slut. She done the silvers, do you know?
She's doing them.
She needn't have a dinner before she goes.
No?
No. Why should she?
All right.
If she asks for a wages, tell her. I say, there's nothing due under the circumstances.
All right, Auntie. Where's Albert?
He's taken the children home and then he's going on to the works. He ought to have gone long ago. There's a dreadful upset there.
I suppose there is.
Not that it was Albert's fault that Mr. Engpen was hurt. That flywheel was checked quite regular. An accident can happen to anyone.
I ought to go too.
She won't speak again.
Come in. Evening, James.
Evening, Sue. Well, I hope as I'm not disturbing you, Mr.
No,
Clayhanger.
James, what is it?
I only just now heard the sad news concerning the death of Mrs. Hamps.
Ah, yes, I'm afraid it happened this afternoon.
Please accept my sincere condolences.
Thank you, James.
May I hope as she passed away peacefully.
Yes, I suppose, yes.
You'll thank God for that mercy, I'm sure, then, Sue. Makes a man conscious of mortality when he watches his own generation go. Night, Sue.
No, James. Dearest Hilda, Auntie died this afternoon. Ingpen's had an accident and the doctors think he's dying too. What a cheerful letter for anyone. Ah, for goodness sake, is there any point? She'll be back in the thick of it in a day or two. The coffin, the service, the burial, the tea. And Albert Benbow fretting to see the will.
I went to Piddock's first, of course. I felt sure she'd have left the will with him. He is the Wesleyan solicitor, after all.
She never went to any solicitor, not that I know of.
She must have done if she made a will. Anyhow, he knew nothing about it, so I went on up to the bank. I couldn't see Mr. Breeze. Seems he was away in his bed.
More trouble with his boils, I suppose.
It's never been the same there since Mr. Lovett went. So I couldn't see Breeze, so I saw the cashier. She's left her securities there, all right, but no sign of a will. He said he could produce the securities, but only to Edwin, the nearest heir.
So that's it, then? There is no will?
Seems that way.
What happens now?
Well, I looked up Whittaker's Almanac. They got a section on intestates. It seems that a personal property is divided up equally between Edwin, Maggie, and you.
Equally? Oh?
Yeah, but that's just a personal property, just a personal thing, do you understand? The real property, this house and that all goes to Edwin as the nearest heir.
All of it?
That's the law. I'm a good Tory and always have been, but that law needs reforming, I do know that.
You don't think Edwin would insist on his rights?
He could do. Are those the things you found in her room?
Yes.
For Edwin, with Auntie's love. For Maggie, with Auntie's love. Nothing else?
No?
Nothing! For you, all the children.
No. That'll be Edwin now.
Let's be careful what we say.
Evening, Minnie.
Sir. Letter for you, sir.
Oh.
darling boy. George's influenza, Charlie says. Temperature 102 anyway. I knew this morning there was something wrong with him. Charlie says there is nothing to worry about, but of course he can't go out tomorrow, and we shall have to stay until he can. Janet and Charlie send their love. Your ever-loving wife, Hilda. Your ever-loving wife. Dear Lord, I wish she was with me now. No. For her sake, I don't. At least she'll miss all this.
I think everything's done.
Oh. Sorry I've been longer than I said. I thought I'd better pop round and see how Ingpen was getting on.
And how is he?
Oh, no change.
They've come back.
Who?
Albert and Clara.
Why?
They want to talk to you about the funeral. It ought to be settled, they say. I thought I'd better ask them if they wanted tea.
Do they?
Yes.
Oh.
I'll bring it in.
Ah, there you are, Edwin.
Yes.
One or two things I thought we ought to sort out. Best to do it sooner rather than later, you know.
These things do always take so much time.
Especially if we want to get it in this week.
Oh, and it's not wise to leave it over the weekend.
Quite, so that really leaves Friday, which is no time at all. We wondered how you felt about Friday, Edwin.
Here's the tea. I think we can all get round the table. Edwin, you'd best take the place by the fire. Clara, Albert here. I'll set this side myself. Give the lever to Mr. Clayhanger, Minnie.
We shall be eating later.
Well, I didn't know you'd be here, did Albert? So I don't see how I could buy for you.
That's what I mean, Maggie. You didn't know.
There's bread and butter and there's jam and there's tea. That'll do fine for us, Maggie. And there's not much time for catering. Just help yourselves to whatever you want.
What do you think to Friday, Edwin?
Yes, I think Friday would be best.
Ah, it gives us time to invite everyone and saves us having to wait the weekend.
Tea, Albert?
Thanks. Bound to be a big affair.
Oh, yes, bound to be.
There'll be a choral service in the chapel and a sizable procession, too.
The Sunday school are going to walk.
Oh, yes. Clara met Mr. Tobbs on the way back here. And when she told him the news, the first thing he said was, Sunday school will walk behind, he said.
Thank you. And quite a number of the congregation, too.
We'll have to see how many we can get back here for tea. Pass me that jam, will you, Clara?
We shan't be having any choral service.
No choral service?
No. I intend to keep everything very simple.
But well, it's up to you, of course, Edwin. You're chief mourner, we all know that. But what'll folk think?
I don't care what they think.
But surely Auntie would have wanted a choral.
I don't know. But I've decided it'll be simple. And that's positive. There'll be no guests whatsoever outside the family.
No guests at all?
None.
Well, I think that's foolish, I do.
No, Clara.
Oh, sorry, Eddie, but I just don't see the reason, that's
Perhaps
all.
there is no reason. I think it's best.
Well, you know your own mind, of course, Edwin, and you are chief mourner, as Clary says, but even if you publish its family, there'll be a certain few who'll expect to come.
Representatives is what Albert means.
Representatives, aye. Dignitaries representing. The ministers, of course, and the doctor, too, and it'll not be easy to say no to them. Could cause unpleasantness, you know.
Well, I want it kept down to a minimum.
And, of course, there's the Sunday school.
Difficult there, because they made their plans.
There'll have to be some form of service, Edwin. We could have it in the cemetery chapel, I suppose. But you know how cold it is just now, and that chapel's got no heating at all. At least our chapel will be good and warm.
Sure enough, Edwin.
Tales I've heard of that cemetery chapel. They say scores of people have caught their deaths in there.
We shan't be going into Cemetery Chapel. We shan't be going into any chapel.
There must be a service.
There will be a service. We shall have it here.
Here?
We shall have the service here. And we shall go to the chapel via Wedgwood Street.
Well, we can't do that.
Why not?
Well, surely we must take the longest route. Up St. Luke's Square, past the town hall and the shambles, give folk a chance to see. The last journey should be the longest, you know.
I've decided we shall go via Wedgwood Street.
Find the claret to your liking, Johnny?
I was just admiring it.
Little wine merchant in Ealing. Quite a bargain, I thought. What do you think of the claret, Hilda?
I think it's wonderful.
Steady on, don't exaggerate.
Johnny, don't you stand for any of his rudeness, Charlie. Tip the blessed decanter all over.
Oh, that's all right, Adela. I know the boy imagines he has the best cellar in London.
How is George feeling now?
Oh, he's very much better, isn't he, Hilda?
Certainly seems to be.
He was bounding about in my office this morning as though he'd never been ill in his life.
The resilience of the young.
He's quite dotty to be an architect. He hadn't been there 10 minutes before he was telling me he wants to come to London and study under me.
What do you think of that scheme, Hilda?
Oh, I don't know. What's Johnny think?
It's all right by me.
We could find him a room with us, couldn't we, darling?
I don't see why not.
Well, I should have to speak to Edwin, of course.
I can't see old Teddy raising any objections. He always wanted to be an architect himself.
Did he really? Oh, yeah.
His old man wouldn't have it. Bit of a tyrant was old Clayhanger.
It could be a blessing in disguise. Oh, I think it'd have made a good architect, but he may not have made the pots he has.
Oh, yes, he's very successful, isn't he?
Yes, I suppose he is.
Too right. Safe as houses, too. I wouldn't mind a slice of that stability of his.
You don't get stability in the profession. In fact, as far as I can see, the only way to get rich as an architect is to marry a woman whose relations die off and leave her their money.
Here's to my relation.
I second that. And now, let's have a toast to the dear old towns.
To the towns?
Well, why not?
Well, I thought you'd be toasting your escape from them.
Oh, I know what you mean. They did their best to crucify us.
I was the infamous Mrs. Chris, and he was the rogue that ran off with me.
We bettered them, didn't we, my love?
Oh, they've no real strength. Just a lot of noise.
Right. When all's said, they're weaklings, and you can't help having affection for that. They're barbaric, I'll give you.
And dirty.
And they're stupid.
And mean.
Yes, I do think John is right. You can't help liking them in a strange sort of way.
From a distance.
To the towns.
The towns.
Towns.
And of course, we shall be moving out of them soon.
Moving, you are.
Well, yes, of course. It's the only possible thing to do.
Out of the towns, you mean?
Well, we shall live in the country, I mean.
I thoroughly approve.
It's a wonderful
I
idea.
should say it is.
I don't understand why more businessmen don't do it. There's some beautiful countryside near the Five Towns.
I suppose in a way it'll be a wrench for Edwin. I remember him when that house was built. He used to go and watch its progress every day. He was so excited.
Perhaps he was. But Edwin's no old stick in the mud, is he, Hilda?
Good heavens, no.
I'm the resurrection and the life, saith the Lord. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die.
I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. And though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I say God, whom I shall say for myself, and mine eyes shall behold, and not another.
We brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Lord, thou hast been our refuge from one generation to another. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever the earth and the world were made, thou art God from everlasting.
For as much as ye know that your labour is not in vain in the Lord.
My dear brethren, we are gathered today to bid a last farewell to a treasured sister, and to commit her soul unto the Lord. Her loss to us is irreparable. Her presence amongst us was like a beacon to lighten the darkness of this sinful world. Her generous spirit, her love of fellow men, her dedication to Christ and to our chapel.
Do they believe what they're saying? Did they know her at all? Or doesn't it matter anyway? I wonder what her spirit's doing now.
I say unto you, brethren, in our moment of grief, we should be mindful also of our gratitude. Gratitude to our Lord. What I get.
How much did those wreaths cost? I dare say a bit.
And the Lord hath taken away. He gave her to us. She dwelt among us. In her strive for salvation, she ennobled our souls. And now, the Lord, in his
Oh, yes, I'm glad that Hilda's not here. She will be in a few days, though. And when she does come back, we shall start a new life.
Salvation, and we know she has triumphed. She is for everlasting in company with Christ. Let us say together the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses.
Now, Minnie. Hush now.
I shouldn't have done it, miss. I shouldn't have upset her like I did.
Now, stop that, Minnie. Stop it. Do you hear?
She was so Christian, she was.
Now, go into the kitchen and make yourself a cup of tea.
Tea, miss?
Yes, Minnie. Go and do it now.
Yes, miss.
The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, and the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Ghost be with you all evermore.
Amen.
Amen. Isn't the hearse here?
No.
I knew it wouldn't be. Why did he finish so soon? They're not here.
Why not?
How long did you say?
What?
The service, how long?
About a quarter of an hour.
You told them that?
Yes.
It's too short. I told them half an hour.
Half an hour? I said it would be simple.
I know, but what are we going to do?
I'm going to have to tell them.
Oh, you can't. It looks so... Oh, thank God for that. She's more than a last coach, not first, old man. Reverend Mr. Higginbottom, Reverend Mr. Cliff, and Reverend Mr. Flowerdew, would you care to travel in the first coach, please? I think we should take umbrellas to be on the safe side. So, there we are. She's laid to rest. All went very well, I thought. Pity about the rain, of course, but I feared it was threatening from first thing, though. Strange you should put her next to Isaac Plant. I used to do business with him one time. All three of his wives buried with him now. Did you know that Bert's coming into the works? He'll do well, I'm sure of that. Might bring us some good luck. We could do with some. There's been one thing after another just now, and to crown it all, this accident business. I feel sorry for Glen, good Lord, I do. Though I don't know how they can hold us to blame. That flywheel is checked out regular. Yes, my Bert is coming to the works. He's quite a man now, don't you think so, Edwin?
Yes.
There you are, Bert. You hear what your uncle says? We'll be paying Maggie that interest very soon, and of course, a capital's safe as houses. Anytime she wants that, she just has to say so. Not that I'd advise it, mind you, because it's much better where it is. If she ever needs it, it's there all right. Yes, a wonderful woman was Mrs. Amps.
Can't he ever stay quiet? There's Nurse Faulkner. Stop the carriage, please. I must just ask how Pennies. I haven't heard today.
You can't stop the procession.
Last carriage, I'll just slip out.
Drive on, I'll walk down.
Oh.
I'd no idea she could look like that. Good afternoon, nurse.
Good afternoon, Mr. Clayhanger. I have a weakness for gingerbread, I'm afraid.
How's Mr. Ingpen today?
He's going on pretty well.
You mean he's getting better?
Slowly, yes. He's taking food more easily. Well, he was certainly better this morning. I haven't seen him since, of course.
You think he'll pull through?
I'm pretty sure he will. Of course, I haven't seen the doctor. Not since that first night.
I'm so very glad.
Well, I'm just going to the pillar box. It's dreadful weather we're having.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Good afternoon, Mr. Clayhanger.
Good afternoon, nurse. He's going to get better. That letter was addressed to a reverend. She's in love with a parson. I bet she is.
Mr. Clayhanger.
Hello, Mr. Breeze.
Well, what a surprise. I was just getting on my way up there now. To Mrs. Hamp's house, I mean. I'm afraid I only heard the news this morning. I've been in bed, you know.
Yeah, sorry to hear about the old complaint.
I just can't seem to get rid of them. I did want to get up to the cemetery, of course, pay a last tribute of respect to the deceased. I'd known her in business and privately for many years, but with the weather as it is, I simply dare not take the risk.
Of course not now.
All the same, I felt I must step up to the house. I've got that will for you.
What will?
Mrs. Amps.
Your cashier said there was no will at your place.
The fact is, I've had it in my private safe. Would you have any objection if I gave it to you here?
Of course not, no. Thank you.
I've got a receipt for you to sign. It's slipped inside the envelope. Here's an ink pencil.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, good day to you, Mr. Clayhanger.
Good day, Mr. Breeze. Instructions on how to make a will? She must have cut it out of Whitaker's almanac. How like Auntie not to pay a lawyer.
Now, no touching those till your auntie says.
I'm not bothered. Let them get on if they want to. We shan't wait for Edwin or everything will spoil. Albert, will you light the gas?
Maggie, you spoil them.
Oh, it doesn't happen every day.
It's green gauge jam and blackcurrant too, so help yourselves.
Green gauge and blackcurrant. Well, I don't know. That's right, Bert. Offer to Clara first. He's quite a little gentleman these days.
And didn't he look a gentleman in his new hat indeed?
There we are, that's better.
That is cosy, isn't it?
There, that'll be Edwin now. Minnie will answer the door. I can't imagine what kept him.
I hope old ink pen's all right.
Oh, I'm sure he is. There's your tea, Albert. I said you better start, Edwin. I didn't know how long you'd be.
Yes, of course.
Everything all right with ink pen?
Oh, yes, seems he's getting better.
Oh, jolly good.
Yes.
Look here, Albert, can I have a word?
Outside, you mean?
Well,
Your tea will be stone
it
cold
won't take
then
a
if you
moment.
don't
It is
have it.
important.
Oh, just to cover my pie clip, will you, Clara?
Yes. Let me know. Come along, Bert.
I've got something for you.
What is it?
Auntie's will. Breeze had it. I met him in the street. Seems he only knew this morning Auntie was dead. He was on his way up here when I ran into him.
Well,
She drew it up herself. As you say, she made me sole executor. She's left all her property to your children.
oh, good Lord. Oh. Would you say it's,
Oh, yes, I'd say it was watertight. It's all in trust, of course. They don't get a penny till they're 21. I'm the trustee.
Still, I say.
It's all right as far as I'm concerned.
Would you mind, can I tell,
Yes, of course.
I say, Harry, look at this.
Not a penny for Maggie.
Read it yourself.
What'll she do when Auntie's house is sold?
There is, so read it.
Live with Albert and Clara, I suppose.
Everything. No, all her property.
They might have told me before.
No.
Oh, dear Auntie. Dear Auntie.
No, Clary. Steady on.
Bringing George home tomorrow. Leave London 3:10. Love, Hilda. Tomorrow. I can go home.
In just a few minutes, I shall see him again. I shall see his wistful face and that wonderful smile. He's better than those I've left behind. Better than any of them. Their politics have changed, their ideals have changed, but not his. Oh, no. And they're snobs, too. He never could be that. Am I getting a snob? Well, I don't care if it is snobbishness. I want certain things, and I will have them. And people can call it what they like. Nearly there.
Yes.
I can't wait to see that face of his. But I shall change our lives.
So it's an eye shade now, is it?
Well, only at night, in rooms lighted from the top.
Oh, Charlie said you were perfectly right. So did the oculist as well. He said we would have got the same advice from any specialist in Birmingham or Manchester. They made quite fun of me for running off to them.
Oh, I don't believe that.
My poor boy. What state you're in? How long has this button been loose?
Haven't really noticed too much happening.
Must have been dreadful for you. I really have been neglecting you shamefully. Never mind. It's all over. Going home now.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Clayhanger.
Had to go to the dressmaker's after my shopping in Shawport, so I thought I might as well call for you. It's nearly 1 o'clock. But I can wait if you're busy.
No, I'm ready. What you got in that parcel?
It's your new office coat.
New office coat?
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought you needed one.
Uh-huh. Let's have a look at it.
You going to try it on in here?
Why not?
There you are.
Thank you.
Oh, I put some wash leather inside the lining at the back.
Why?
Well, didn't you say you felt the cold from the window? And it's bad for your liver, you know.
Luke, I must just sign these letters.
Yes, of course. 1 o'clock?
No, it's not. That's Jackson's. They're always a few minutes early. Start early, finish early.
Why did they put their clocks right?
Heaven knows, I don't. They've been a few minutes fast ever since I've been here. There. Almost ready. Now. Simpson? Yes, sir? I've signed those letters.
Oh, yes.
See that they get in the post today.
Yes, sir.
Oh. Just the right size, I see.
Just.
Thought it would be when I bought it. Oh, I went to the hospital to visit Ingpen.
Oh, did you? Good. How is he today?
Gone home.
Gone home?
Mm-hmm. Matron said he insisted.
Good Lord, is he well enough?
Well, he said so. She said he thanked them all very much for saving his life, but he wasn't a patient anymore. He was a convalescent. Then he asked them to order a cab to drive him out to his cottage at, Axe.
And they did?
So it seems.
Good Lord. He certainly loves his freedom.
I was thinking we ought to go out and see him.
Well, let's.
Well, I suppose we could go this afternoon, but the trouble is to get there. There are no decent trains to go, and none at all to come back until nearly 9 o'clock. And we can't cycle in this weather. At least I can't. Especially not in the dark.
Well, what about tomorrow?
Sunday trains are worse.
What a ghastly line.
Hmm? Oh, isn't it a pity you haven't got a dog cart?
Hmm.
Then we could use the works horse every now and then, and it wouldn't cost anything extra, would it?
Can't mix up two different things like that.
Suppose you've got all the work that one horse can do.
And more. Oh.
Well, why didn't you get another one?
Huh? No doubt. And build fresh stables too. There we are, 1 o'clock.
for two.
Two?
2 horses.
Why don't you come to the stable and have a look? Then perhaps you'll be satisfied.
Shall I? Oh, darling, your cape is turned up at the back. There you are. They are in a hurry, my word.
Well, why shouldn't they be?
Quite right. It is Saturday.
Hunchman, sir, you see?
Oh, what a beautiful horse. I've never seen him before.
Her?
Oh, is it a mare?
So they say.
I didn't know you'd got a fresh one.
No, I haven't yet. I've taken this one on a fortnight's trial from Chorner. How's she doing, Hunchman?
Bit light.
Yeah, I thought so.
What happened to the old horse?
With God, dropped down dead last week.
What of?
It's a privilege of horses to do that sort of thing. They're always doing it.
You never told me.
You weren't here for one thing.
I should adore horses.
I say, Hunchpin, I suppose this box couldn't be made into 2 stalls.
Good.
Could you get a trap in the shed as well as the cart?
If you drop the shafts of the trap under the cart. Well, what of it, master?
Nothing, only, Mrs. is going to have the mare.
Mrs., eh?
Let's just go back to the office. There's no man like you. No man in the world.
We'd best be getting home. We'll be late for dinner.
What do you think then, Maggie?
It's your choice entirely. It's what's best for you, Maggie. That's all we want, what's best for you.
I'm sure I don't know. There's another one.
It's going to be quite a show.
We did wonder if it was right to decorate at all. But then I said to Albert, I said, I know it's what Auntie would have wished, I said. She just loved her family Christmas, I said.
Mm-hmm. Of course, it's up to Edwin when Auntie's house is sold. And I'm sure he'll bear you in mind when he takes his decision.
But he has got his duties as well, you see.
His duties as executor is what Clary means as trustee and executor.
He has to see that the money is invested properly, you see.
Mind you, I'm quite happy to look after the investing for him. If he wants me to, that is.
He is the trustee, Albert. We must leave it to him.
Well, either way, Maggie, the house will have to be sold. Which brings us back to the question, you see, the question of where you choose to live. Now, I know Edwin did offer...
No, that wouldn't do at all. It's most kind of them, but it wouldn't do. Well, then... I'm not going to be a burden to anyone.
But if you lived here, Max...
You couldn't call that a burden, now.
Of course you couldn't.
And if you even imagined you'd be a burden, just think of the help you'd be to Albert and me. You're such a wonderful housekeeper. And you'd never feel idle for a moment here.
And all you'd pay is your share of the housekeeping.
And of course it would make the children so happy to have their auntie looking after them. They love their Auntie Maggie. You know they do. And you love them. Oh, I do love them, yes. I love all of them. Then that's settled, that is. I shall hear no more. After Christmas, she shall come here and live with us, shan't she, Albert?
You must think of this house as your new home.
No, let me go in alone, Mr. Summer. I want to surprise him.
Good Lord, what are you doing here?
come to visit the convalescent.
Well, I'll be blowed. Excuse my strong language. Not a usual failing.
No, you stay where you are. I have strict instructions that you're to stay in your chair.
Now, don't let that old woman bully you. She only tries it because she can't rule me. But how did you get here? There's no train at this time. Look, sit down, please do. Well, what shall I ask Mrs. Dummer to fetch you? Tea or strong liquors?
No, nothing really. This is a very short visit. Actually, I never thought we'd get this far. Unspin is watering the horse.
What horse?
Mine. Well, Edwin's. No, mine, I suppose. He did say it was to be mine, only the poor thing hasn't got another one yet.
Oh, steady on, Mrs. Clayhanger. You're like all your sex. You can't carry on a logical conversation. Do you mean to say that you drove here?
Well, Unspin did, mostly. He's instructing me in driving. Edwin has bought a dog cart.
Ed has?
Mm-hmm. I asked him to, and he did.
Good heavens above!
I don't think there's any call to sound so surprised.
None of your feminine tricks on me. I meant no insult, you're quite aware of that, but I know how the towns feel about fripperies. And in these parts, a dog cart is a frippery.
Oh, well, anything one bit decent is a frippery here. Anyway, it's all you're doing.
What is?
All this. You said that Edwin was in a groove. You said he didn't know what life is.
Oh, I see. So life is a dog cart.
Well, you must confess it is a start.
Get him on the council, and I shall really applaud. These towns need Ed. Come to think of it, he'd be mayor.
Yes, well, who knows? He might be one day. You know, the mistake with Edwin is to fight him back. You should always try to show him that you see his point of view.
Try to show him I do see his point of view. Like all things with Ed, it's an intelligent one. I think it's mistaken, but I see it all right.
Yes, so do I sometimes. You know, it is very upsetting to pretend to see somebody's point of view and then to find yourself seeing it.
I shall have to tell him that.
You dare. I want to live in the country.
Jolly good. Only sensible thing.
You don't know of a house by any chance, do you?
You don't mean to say Ed's agreed to that?
No, not yet, but, I think he will.
I shall be surprised. He's settled, is Ed. He loves that house. He even loves Bursley.
I'm quite determined, you know.
So I see.
Now, I've decided that the only thing to do is to find the house and then show it to him. That way he won't be able to resist it.
Wish I could agree with you.
What do you know about Ladderidge Hall?
Ladderidge Hall?
Yes. I believe it's for sale.
So that's it, is it?
What?
And I flattered myself you'd come out here to see me.
No, of course I came to see you.
You came to find out about Ladderidge Hall. You thought I'd know because I live nearby.
Very well. Do you?
You put me in a difficult position, my girl. I make it a rule not to come between man and wife. I mean, you'd like Ladderidge Hall and Ed wouldn't, as I see it.
So, you won't tell me?
I don't know.
Well, it's of no importance. I shall always find somebody who will. Well, I didn't want to call at the agent's myself in case... Well, in case...
Ed, got to hear.
I've quite decided that we shall take it, you know.